Hello, and how are you? I hope that you are well today. I'm Sandra Pollock, and I'm actually trying again. I'm going to own up to the fact that I tried to share with you earlier on today and forgot to put the mic on. So hopefully you can hear me now, and I can share what it is that I'm really wanting to share with you today. So I thought I would jump on and share a little bit about something that's been going on in my head recently, and it is about catalysts and understanding what a catalyst is and how actually the catalysts that we experience in our lives are all beneficial. So what do I mean by catalyst and what is it? So the Oxford Dictionary tells us that a catalyst is a substance that increases the rate of chemical reaction without itself undergoing any permanent change, or a catalyst is a person or thing that precipitates an event. So, as I go along, I sort of want you to hold those two ideas in your head. Now, if you're like me, you probably have people or situations in your life that are catalysts. Um, and sometimes we don't always recognize, these catalysts. They can either be, if it's a person or an event that reoccurs in your life, and the purpose of that happening over and over and over again. Maybe different people, different situations, but there's a similarity to them. Well, that's usually a catalyst. And the purpose of that catalyst is something that sometimes we don't recognize. We just find ourselves here again. Or if we're dealing with individuals, we find ourselves having the same argument about the same thing again and again. And we're not actually recognizing that it's a catalyst experience or situation that we're going through. So I wanted to talk about that because this happens to me as well. And sometimes after a while you think, haven't we had this same argument? Why are we having this same argument? Or haven't I been in this similar situation before? It's important. I've realized it's important to recognize our catalysts because usually we don't. So when we talk about a catalyst being a person, it's usually someone close to us. And for catalysts to be effective, it has to be somebody close to us, because somebody at a distance is really not going to have the same impact. We can ignore what they say. We can throw it, over our shoulders. Oh, well, so what? And we can ignore it. But really, catalysts to be effective is usually someone close. So it's either a family member, a partner, or someone we work with. So in a work situation, similar to the home situation, you're there and you can't always get out of it. Yeah. So it's usually somebody that's close to you, either close sentimentally or emotionally, or close in the sense that you have to associate with them. And work is one of those places. So that I connect then, if we go back to the definitions that I shared earlier on, I connect those types of catalysts with, if we look at the first one, a chemical reaction. The chemical reaction with a person is similar because we know that a chemical reaction takes place in our brains, in our bodies, when something affects us either positively or negatively. So catalysts, a positive, could be those situations that make us feel a lot more loving, a lot more caring about the people about us, and we want to help them. So the reaction is we want to do more of that loving, caring, that sort of stuff. That is also a catalyst, because catalysts can precipitate an action, precipitate an emotion. Thank you for the emojis. I appreciate them. So that's one side of it. So the other side of the catalyst, and it's probably ones where we feel the most strongest emotions, is when someone rubs us up the wrong way. I remember it's usually somebody close, okay, because it has to be in order to feel effective. So remember, catalyst can be loving, but it also can be It can be loving, happiness, joyful experiences or feelings, but it also can be annoying, can drive us up the wrong way, can make us frustrated, and even if strong enough, can make us hate somebody. But it's what I want to share with us today is to see those situations in a different way and recognize them as catalysts that are there to move us on in some regard. And I know from my own experience, when I separate the emotional state that I'm having from into the realization that actually this is here for a purpose. When I'm able to do that, then that helps me to get more value out of that situation. So and it's usually our reaction to, if it's a person, to something that they've said to us or how they've behaved, that causes that mental, physical, or emotional reaction. And that's the catalyst. Okay. And I've realized, as I said, that certain people in my life cause a variety of reactions and are catalysts that make me feel either loving and supportive, or other people drive me up the wall, make me feel frustrated and angry. But also when I'm in that state of frustration and anger, I want to tear their heads off. What am I thinking about? Right, how can I get out of this? How can I make sure that this does not happen again? How can I reduce their impact on me? What is that? That is that forward motion of the catalyst, is it not? It is pushing me forward to thinking about change. Yeah. So do you recognize with me the sort of reaction, the impact of things that are happening in your life that are moving you forward? A lot of the time, and I have to put my hands up, I realize that the catalyst happens at a time when I have stepped back, when I'm becoming comfortable in whatever circumstance, when I am not realizing that I need to be moving. I may have ideas, but I think, oh, I don't want to do that. Or fear is stopping me stepping forward and taking action and making changes that I should be doing. So what does life do? It brings me a catalyst, okay? Brings me a situation or a person that rubs me up, gets me angry, gets me frustrated with my circumstance. And the reaction is I then move forward. So if we go back to the definitions, which I think are really important, either, a substance that increases the rate of a chemical reaction without itself undergoing any permanent change. So when we think of a substance, a situation is going to bring about a chemical change in the brain, which then has a knock-on effect of the emotional, or the emotion could happen first and then the chemical reaction, but it moves you forward. That is a catalyst. So what I'm learning is that sometimes instead of thinking, this person is a negative and I want them out of my life. I mean, sometimes you have to do that. So I'm not saying sit in situations where that are not healthy for you and are not helping you. I'm not saying that at all, but it's about recognizing the catalyst of situations that are pushing you to change. And actually, I talked about catalysts, being quite powerful, and usually the more powerful they are associated with people that are close to you. And my husband, oh my gosh, he is such a catalyst. He has a way of talking about things sometimes that sometimes can rub me up the wrong way, and I can even accuse him of being unhelpful, unsupportive, blah blah blah. But actually that is not true, because when we look at what life is doing about our interaction, it's because I really do need to be moving and doing things differently. And so life is just using him, bless his soul, to to push me forward as a catalyst. So I could end up thinking he's not supportive, he's not helpful, he's not on my side at all, when in truth he is probably the most supportive person, because and even without knowing it, he's being used to get me out of my comfort zone and push me forward. So And yeah, we can sit and say, well, yes, maybe there is some truth in what's been said, or what's happened. Maybe there's some truth in that. But if it was said this way, then it wouldn't have been so annoying. If they had done it this way, it wouldn't have been so annoying. And we could make excuses to want to stay in that angry emotional state. Okay. But if we step back from that and ask this question, and this is the question that always gets me moving forward: what can I learn from this situation? This has happened. Okay. It shouldn't have happened. It wasn't right. But okay, what can I learn from it? Or this person has said such and such, well, they're wrong, and blah, blah, blah. But okay, what can I, Sandra, learn from this? What can I take for my own self to help me from this situation? And honestly speaking, as I've mentioned before, every time I step back and think into that question and be honest with myself, I realize that I have settled. I've taken my foot off the pedal. I've let fear in certain situations hold me back from moving forward and doing the things that I really want to do. And that then forces me to deal with those fears, to address those circumstances, and to move forward. So that person, bless them, being in my life, or that situation happening, has happened actually to help me. Bless the people that, are, being used without even knowing it to push you forward. But it's understanding that actually they are instruments of catalyst, and they are not your enemies. I mean, yeah, some of them maybe, but that's not when we look at, I'm looking at life as a whole. When we look at life as a whole, there is some benefit to having gone through that situation. And so today I want to encourage you that the next time somebody irritates you, rubs you up the wrong way, see them as a catalyst to taking you forward. And that also gets you out of the hate and the frustration emotion. Ask yourself this question: what is this situation trying to teach me or to show me about myself? And admit that about yourself. Staying in that state of frustration and anger and hate, that damages you. So the sooner you can get out of that and sit objectively and reflect on the situation, then the healthier you will be. The longer we stay, and it feels good sometimes to stay in that angst, doesn't it? It feels good, and we want to be angry, but actually it's not good for us, and it's certainly not the purpose that the situation was created for. It's actually bad for our health to stay in there. So I have to work on myself in changing my thoughts, and asking myself that question honestly helps me to do that. So my main point today is to recognize irritating situations, conversations, relationships in our lives as a catalyst to move us forward, to teach us where we have slowed down, taken our foot off the panel. This off the pedal. This is my main thought today. Every time we encounter difficult situations, it doesn't mean that the people are against us or they hate us. It could be that life has sent us and given us a catalyst to get back on track. So, how many catalysts have you had this week? How many have been the same things happening again and again? Can you identify the catalyst? Can you identify the purpose of the catalyst happening in your life? And what are you going to do about that, really? So I just wanted to share this with you today as I've been thinking myself, and hope that this has been helpful. If it has, please share it, share on with other people, and have a blessed day. and week or weekend, whatever time you're listening to this, whether you're listening back again. But thank you so much for listening. I will be reading your comments and replying to those. So please go ahead and make your comments. What do you think about this? Has it been helpful? Do you recognize any catalysts? These are the questions. So I'm Sandra Pollock. Lovely to engage with you. Thank you for your time. And I'm sending you love, light, and abundant blessings. Take care. I will catch up with you again soon. And yeah, take care of yourself. Blessings. Bye bye for now.